Right, behind the scenes, episode 8. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of Behind the Seams. You see, we're all underdressed for this particular episode because it is movie week on this week's Great British Sewing Bee. So first of all, let me say hello to our regular panel. First of all, say hello to myself. I'm Sarah Payne. Good morning. And then we have Samantha. Hello, Samantha.
Hi there.
Samantha Hamilton from Just Bold Fabrics. We have Alistair, who's dressed down for the occasion, from House of Alistair. Hello, Alistair. I'm just going to smooth right over. We'll come back to you later. Loving the hair. Absolutely loving the hair. And then we have the fabulous Janet Clare with us today. So give us a wave, Janet.
Hello.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself if people haven't found you yet?
Okay, so I'm a textile designer and I make quilts and design fabric for quilts, and I write books, and I'm on Create and Craft every month.
There we go. Yes. So we were all talking earlier because we do tend to cross paths a little bit in the green room, and it's like everyone in sewing knows everyone else. And a lot of the time it's actually true. So before we start talking about the episode, just a couple of recaps. First of all, last week's competition was the opportunity to win a bundle of fabrics on YouTube and on Facebook from Samantha. So Samantha, can you give us the names of the winners for last week's challenge, please?
That's rather interesting. We know that we have a Sue and we have a Sarah. And this is from, they won from Facebook and YouTube. Is that correct? Yes?
That's right, yes. So we've got Facebook was Sue Barr and
correct.
YouTube was Sarah Stockton. So if you want to put a direct message through to Create and Craft or contact customer services, then post underneath here, then somebody will be in contact with you to hand over Samantha's gorgeous prizes.
What they're going to win is £50 worth of stock. So they've got material and 2 beautiful sewing patterns.
Fabulous, fabulous. Also, we have another competition this week, which this time it is a competition set by Alistair from the House of Alistair. So, Alistair, if you'd like to introduce, baby, tell us what you've got.
Well, apart from my beautiful melons, so this week you are in the chance to win a House of Alistair sewing hamper worth £60. So there's 2 up for grabs. So there's one for Facebook and one for YouTube. So you literally, now I just need to remind myself what you have to do because it's all a bit chaotic here. So literally, to enter, we would like to know which theme you would most like to see on the Great British Sewing Bee. So for instance, you can choose things like you would like to see a wedding episode or plus sizes or, you know, just basically anything, you know, you could. So it's entirely up to you. So all you have to do is underneath, you just need to put in the comments box and you just need to write your comments on the Create and Craft channels, not our individual ones, because I have to keep telling everyone every week because they keep on messaging underneath and I'm saying, no, because I feel really bad. You've got to enter on the Facebook one and then on the Create and Craft one.
Fantastic. And we will announce the winner next week. And now we have the ongoing competition as well that we launched last week, which is Create Your Own Fabric. Now, this is a fantastic opportunity for somebody to design a fabric, see it printed and see it sold on Create and Craft. You'll also win a bundle worth £250 of sewing goodies, which includes a £100 voucher for you to spend on whatever you like on the Create and Craft website. So what you'll need to do to take part in that is pop over to the Create and Craft Facebook page, and there is actually an entry for that. There is a post that was posted last Thursday for that, click on that and it'll take you through to a page where you can upload your pictures. And then we will be having a look through those results and picking the winner, which we will announce after the final episode of Behind the Scenes. So that's very exciting, and we can't wait to see what everybody's doing. So make sure, if you don't have to be an artist, you don't have to be great at drawing or anything like that, just upload your ideas, your graphic, could be a picture, could be a whatever you like, and then you could possibly see it sold on Create and Craft. There we go. Right, so let's crack on with this week's episode. So very briefly, we had movie week, or it was the music of movies week. So the first challenge was the Dirty Dancing dress, and Alistair, nobody puts baby in a corner.
They certainly don't.
So I'm just going to show the pattern challenge. This was the results of the pattern challenge. They had 4.5 hours to make a Dirty Dancing style dress. Now, you've been talking, Alistair, over the last few weeks about how you feel that they should all work with the same fabric, so we have a direct comparison. And they actually did that this week. So what did you think of those results? And, what was your favourite?
I have to say it was Serena's, just because the fact is that she actually levelled her hem, especially with the chiffon. And I thought that I wasn't a fan of her lace. That was just a complete afterthought. However, I just felt that, in fact, actually, wasn't it getting quite catty? All I've written down here is Rebecca and C. It was just like all she kept going on about was wanting to beat, Serena. And I was just like, well, do it, keep going. But I just felt that it was a bit of a strange challenge for me, because in actual fact, when you actually saw, and we keep on pulling this up every single week, wasn't the actual, the all singing, all dancing one? Gosh, I think they'd misplaced the bust. The darts for the bust were way down here, but but the model was quite perky, But there was just huge. You've got to get the actual, model completely and utterly right, and then you can actually start critiquing, because there was no way that example they were showing and they were saying this is how it should be and this, that and the other.
The top of the darts did look like extra nipples.
That is exactly what they looked like. And it was just, and because they kept on going about how, unforgiven Saturn is, well, their example did show that, so they did make their point. Anyway, discuss.
Okay, right, Samantha, what did you think of the pattern challenge this week? Which one was your favourite?
To be honest with you, forgive me, I think it was Brad. I liked the colour choice, and of course, you could see everybody under pressure, because we had Rebecca with her sewing all over the place. We had Damien. His zipped looked kind of all right. He didn't follow the pattern. He did his own thing, but I actually liked his dress. And Serena, do you know what, Sarah? You said something rather interesting. I can't remember exactly what the words were.
I doubt that.
But yeah. It looks to me as if they're pushing for Serena to win. So that is what I think of it every time they come out with her comments of what they think of her dress, and, whatever she's making. Isn't she a fabulous sewer? Isn't she a fabulous sewer? Oh, Serena. That is all we ever hear. So that is what I thought.
Okie dokie. So, Janet, welcome to the panel for this week. What did you think of our first challenge? Because we did have Serena. It was Serena. This is the order they won. Serena, Rebecca, Rafe, Pharah and Damien. So what did you think?
I think Serena is a fantastic sewer. I think Raf has got amazing taste. What always frustrates me with these challenges is that they're not given enough time to do it properly. So you as a dressmaker at home, you do not hem silk, a taffeta and a chiffon skirt without letting it hang, because it drops. Esme even says it's going to drop, and then they're pulled up because the hems have dropped. I think that it wouldn't have made any difference to the energy of the competition if they were then given time to do it properly. That's my view. But I do think that if the challenge is to follow the pattern to the letter, then Damien should know that by now, if he was really playing the game.
Yes, and he doesn't, does he? We do know that he doesn't follow the pattern. But who's left their phone on this time?
Sorry, it was obviously Esme calling me.
Esme's not turned her pattern off, turned her phone off. Right, so let's crack on with the transformation challenge now. I loved this one. I love the idea of it. So what we had was a Sound of Music curtain, ripping down the curtains and making them into outfits challenge. And these are the results. So these are the 5 pieces. They had 90 minutes to take one set of curtains, one only this time, instead of, getting a bit carried away and taking 6 sets, and making an item of child's playwear that included either shorts or trousers. So let's start off with Samantha. Now, the winner for this, just quickly, was Serena, Rebecca and Raf, which was the same as the first challenge, and then Pharah and Damien. So actually, it was exactly the same order as the first challenge, I think. But really interesting, because I actually like Damien's choice. I like the way they designed it. We got some close runners there because Serena had great imagination. She did some applique. I liked her design. And then we had Rebecca with her pants underneath. And as Alistair rightly said, what was wrong with her attitude this week? I'm going to win, I want to beat, there was that aggression, there was the ego coming in there. And poor Pharah, she's really feeling the pressure, but I'm sorry, I need to be empathetic with her, but I'm not, because I can't be doing with the tears. You're in there to win, you're in there to prove that you can sew. So for me, it's the psychology behind sewing, because I'm all into mindfulness, and what you actually pick up with Serena, she's in her mindful flow. If you look at her attitude towards sewing, it's really positive, she's very focused. I'm just saying. So yeah, I was impressed with all of them, to be honest. They all came quite close together. The choice of the winner, yeah, I agree, Serena did really well. So, Janet, what did you think on this occasion?
Yeah, I think Serena's was the one that looked most individual, because I think, you've got very little time to plan and think about it. And I think, those little shorts with the dungaree top thing, that's quite obvious. I think the skirt, is that how you call it? The shirt, the shorts and the skirt was really well done. I do. And yeah. I think Pharah, I think Pharah just gets a bit overwhelmed, and she gets in her own way, doesn't she? She's very talented and she had brilliant ideas, but she doesn't quite get it out quick enough. So I really want her to hurry up. But if they are genuine home sewers, they're not used to production line sewing. We all sew for a living, and you get used to doing things quickly as a production line. And I think maybe that's where Pharah's fallen down. She sews maybe half an hour here, so in the fitting around the children. She's less used to that pressurized time scale, I think.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, actually, because I think we forget the pressure as well. We forget the pressure that they're under, because we all demonstrate on TV and we know what that pressure is like. And when somebody's waving at you because you've got 1 minute left. But that's our lives. This is something that they've not experienced before and they've not had a go with. So Alistair, Rebecca did stick a bow on it, which it's like, enough with the bows.
Yeah, I hated that bow.
So last year, but what did you think?
That bow was so ski whiff. It was just, that is just something. If you're going to plonk a great big detail on the front, at least get it level. There's just things. To give them credit, I thought, yep, that was you know, it was really, really well done. Did I think using the top of the curtains was a good idea? I don't think so, because it's just not practical on any, it's just not practical on any level. I mean, I know, you know, Esme was banging on about, you know, I'd really like to see how they're going to incorporate that. And I'm like, but why would you? You wouldn't give that to a child anyway, because it'll just chafe like hell, you know, you know, and what are they going to do with the curtain tape inside? You know, they're going to end up garroting themselves or something. I mean, it just really wasn't my cup of tea. I thought Serena's kimono-esque, I thought that was really beautiful, and I could see that. Well, to be perfectly honest, I could see a boy or a girl in that. I could, you know, I think that it was quite lovely, and I liked her colour choices. Now, a note to Damien: if you're going to raid the haberdashery department, then that's how you trim. You sympathetically use trim. And that was a good sense of colour. I did think Rebecca was a little, you know, I thought hers was a little bit, I just thought those little shorts underneath, when you just saw it, but I actually was really surprised at the ranking. I mean, I know it was really difficult. I really didn't like Rafe's at all. In fact, I hated that. But Damien's, I actually thought, actually, do you know what? It's really well, you know, put together. And he had attempted poppers, and I wish they would stop going on about, you know, why don't you just like rip the poppers open? You know, the fact that they've got poppers there and in 90 minutes to try and get those on, I thought he did really well. So
actually, this week, all 5 of them, I thought, well, actually, they achieved. There was nothing that was so, you know, weird that you'd never put a child in it. It was, the challenge was for a child's play outfit, and actually, all of those were quite wearable. So, and actually, I thought Damien's, considering he didn't have a pattern, it was quite well constructed. So that he.
Sorry, I'm on a very serious work call, darling.
Sorry, Alistair's just got my hair from like 1989. Every time I look at him, Anyway, we'll all have melon after this as well, because you're making me hungry. So let's move on then and talk about the next challenge, which was the made to measure. Okay, and it
drum roll.
Yes, the made to measure, and it was Dream Girls. So we were looking disco, we were looking diva, we were looking glamorous. Now, obviously, we had the garment of the week, which was Rebecca's. So spoiler alert, which you'll know if you're watching this, was Rebecca's, was the garment of the week. So very quickly, nod or shake of the head. What do we think to garment of the week? Sorry, I'm shaking my head as well. Okay, so I'm going to go around each of you, and I've got pictures of all of them here. So I'll go around each of you, and you tell me which was your favourite and which was your least favourite, and why, and also, you know, why you think that shouldn't have won, because I don't think anyone thinks that really should have won. So I'm going to start with, let's start with Janet this time. So which ones do you want to talk about?
I loved Rav and his trouser suit with that, the feather and the cape. I think it was original. I think it was well made. I think they fit pretty well considering his time restraint. They would need all day, wouldn't they? If they were really going to fit and make a custom fit, you know, you'd have to start from slopers and do it really well. And actually, if they've worked with the same model, have they worked with the same person the whole way through? So they should have a really good understanding of the person they're fitting to now. But I think that had the most style, and it was something that wasn't just another glittery dress.
Very good point, very good point. Because last week he won Garment of the Week and we thought he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve Garment of the Week last time, but then this time I think I'm inclined to agree. I rather like that one, and I think that would have been my favourite out of all of them. So Samantha, which one do you want to talk about? Which is your... So you don't agree either?
No, I don't agree because with Rebecca's, I don't know why they made her win. Maybe because she was moaning that she needed to win something and I just got sympathetic with her. Anyway, let's go on with Pharah. Her dress, the fit at the top wasn't that amazing, but actually for the brief, it was absolutely spot on. I'm going to be honest, I like the design, but can I say that it looked a bit, excuse me when I say it looked a bit cheap looking because of the way that it was, but if it was put in a better fabric, that would have been spot on for the Dream Girls, because you could actually see that in that era, you know, and that time of fashion, etc. But yeah, I have to agree with what was just said previously about Raft. You know, for somebody who says he doesn't sew, yeah, he did really well. We know that he's got potential to be a great designer, to be honest. So that's my opinion.
I think as well with these, with this particular challenge, it was so easy for it to go into cheap when it came to the fabric choices, because really, if it's not well fitting, if the fabric choices aren't correct, and I did think, you know, that's a bit shiny. And I did feel that a bit with Rebecca's as well, that this here looked a bit, it just looked a bit, it looked a bit naff. So I think the fabric choices let her down there. So Alistair, what was your favourite and why not this one?
I don't actually really have any. I don't actually really have a favourite at all in this challenge. I think there's merits in all of them. I'm just not too sure whether or not Rafe's, for me, with the whole cape and the feathers down, what have you, actually fitted this brief. If that was for, I don't know, if they were doing Lady Gaga week, and no, I won't come on as Lady Gaga. But
oh, shame.
Well, you never know, you know, the night is young. But literally, I'm just not too, I just wasn't too sure. Yes, it was glitz and glam, but I don't know whether or not that would be something that actually fitted in, because it was to be Dream Girls, which is a period film. It's set in a particular style. Rebecca's, I felt, even though there was a lot of curves in hers, and sorry, not Rebecca, sorry, what Serena's. So even though cleverly there was a lot of sort of curves, although you've really got to be careful when you hit a side seam. For instance, if you had made a toile of this at home, and what I mean by that is a prototype, what you would do, you'd stick it on a dummy and you'd draw loads of lines around it and you'd make new pattern pieces. And then you wouldn't have, because on some of where the swirls were coming down, you have this tiny little bit of side seam. That's just going to add bulk. And it's just going to look wrong. I just thought it was too simple, and she would have probably have been better off just finding from the local market. She'd have probably been better off finding a sequin fabric that had a design on it already, like a zebra or something. Because I didn't actually feel that, even though all that technical ability of putting that in, also, you know, everyone keeps on sewing over pins. I mean, you know, they were surprised that when they were sewing sequins, you know, that you would get broken needles. Well, I'm surprised they haven't flagged up, you know, sewing over actual pins is not going to break your machine. Damien's was an absolute disaster.
Horror show.
No, when Damien uses the
fabric.
Well, yes. Well, when Damien uses the word bling, I just shudder and I literally hide. I mean, that was the only reason I put my Heat magazine down last night. But literally, no, I'm not joking. I've got it here, love. But literally, I didn't find it. Now, whenever you're using fusing, please, please, please turn the steam off. No steam. It's a dry application. It just, you're going to, and the more you iron it, the more you press it, the more bubbles will start to come. Once you've put steam onto fuse and you've deactivated the glue, the best thing to do is try and rip it off the back and start again. If you can't, you need to start with a new piece of fabric. It was just, for me, I was really looking forward to the end. I wasn't too fussed about the segment in the middle with the sound of music, because I just thought, that's what have you. But then when it was Dreamgirls, I was thinking, God, they're really going to go to town. Rebecca's, though, interestingly, I thought the bodice was beautifully sewn. I thought the sequin that she had in there, but she's gone down the sort of route that Damien goes, and he sort of like, he did a fishtail a few weeks ago, and he just chops it all and what have you. If she had added an extra bit of detail to that net to blend it into the rest of the dress, it was almost like, okay, well, I'm, you know, showgirl, I'm just going to stick a tail on it.
If you recall, she was going on about she really wanted to win it because she was a dancer and she should know all about her garments because she was a dancer at some point, wasn't she? She said she did, I don't know, it was ballroom, and I can't remember, but she referenced to the fact that she ought to be winning it because, and maybe they picked up on that and gave her that to her.
I mean, I thought it was very well. I thought the sewing, in terms of for everybody's sewing, it was pretty, you know, it was all up to par, and I couldn't really fault anyone. You know, we're not going back to, you know, the earlier stages with other contestants, but I just didn't necessarily. It was just I didn't really necessarily agree with. I just didn't agree with the comments, and I just. Faries, I thought that was that lace over the shoulder. For me, it wasn't, the lace doesn't stabilize itself. So when you're going to put a heavy bias binding trim on there, you've got to treat it with a bit of attention and care. A lighter one, like maybe a chiffon bias tape, because she put it on using a sewing machine attachment foot. So you're not going to slip and slide. So something that you need to balance out. If you're going to use a lighter or uncontrollable fabric, you have to balance it with the trims or what you're trying to do.
Fantastic. So we have touched on garment of the week, and we all have our own opinions. And then we have who went home. So we had Damien in the first one. Obviously, his dress, he did the zip. And he came last. He did his own zip. Then he came last in the transformation challenge with his lederhosen, which actually I thought maybe last was a little bit harsh. And then he made this, which I don't know what movie he watched, but I don't think he watched Dreamgirls.
Star Trek. He's watching Star Trek.
Actually, yes, it could actually be a Star Trek outfit. Yeah, I mean, the fit on the shoulders, because obviously he didn't try it on his model. But like you said, I think Janet said, he's been using this model all the way along. He would know her measurements. You know, he should be able to pad out a model at home. You know, I've done it myself, padded it out with wadding until it's the same shape as me, even if it's not adjustable. So he should have been able to match his pattern to that, but the shoulders it was just hanging off. And then he used haberdashery fabric. He used curtain fabric, didn't he? Or was it upholstery fabric? I was like, what are you thinking of matching that with as soon as he came out with that fabric, I thought, you've got two fabrics that are completely different weights, completely different structures, even stabilizing this, which all went horribly wrong, as you said, Alistair. And then with that trim.
Bling. No, not trim, bling.
Well, yes, bling. But they did say nothing says disco diva like brown.
Yeah, I don't think Dubai is going to be on the phone anytime soon.
No. So, Janet, what did you think?
I actually think Damien felt he was going to be on his way out, so he was just going to do whatever he wanted to do. You know, that's the impression he was giving me. It was kind of like, well, I'm here now, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I'm going to break the rules, I'm going to mash it up. And that's what he did. So,
Janet, what did you think?
I just don't like his taste. And I know that's the whole point of taste, but I don't think he makes it on any level. He's got the wrong fabric choices. It doesn't suit his model, who is gorgeous, and he should understand the lady that he's fitting after all these weeks. And he doesn't know that less is more. You know, it's just wrong on every level.
He's single-minded, Janice, isn't he? He's just single-minded, just focused with what he wants to do. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Sorry, Janet,
Alistair.
what did you say? Less is more?
Less is more, darling. Don't really make about it.
Just the one melon. Just the one melon, Alistair, would have been enough.
There's always a critique.
So what did you think, Alistair, of
Yeah, I'll
Damien
just get back
going
to my
home?
magazine. I just thought Damien's was an abomination.
Hey, well, actually,
Unfortunately, and I just think, I'm sorry, but if you profess to make, now I don't know whether it's his girlfriend or his wife, or whether or not, you know, he's in the process of online getting one, but literally, surely that person in that household would have said, I have something to say to you. That is not that is not glamorous. That is not that fabric. I wouldn't wear that. I mean, somebody just needed to have to. Now, whether I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's the bag from eBay just literally came, you know, and he squirreled it away in a bag, and then he brought it in and not showed anybody. But it was just the weights of the fabric, everything was just wrong about it. It was just bad. But, you know, you can't, you know, taste is one thing, but you've got to have it. And he's really competent at sewing. I was actually a little bit upset, and I hope, you know, from the beginning, I was a bit upset that he actually went, because I've just thought Pharah just slipped back into her, like, ooh, you know, chicken mode. But in actual fact, Damien actually was still, even though I think a bit of them had given up, he was still, you know, going for it. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't just, you know, oh, that'll do, you know, I know I'm out this week, but, you know, he was still going. But if Pharah, well, she's in the, you know, the final, but I mean, it's just literally, yeah, it's, I don't know. I think I can predict that she's probably going to be the one that goes out next, but there might be a surprise that Rafe may have a bad week next week. I don't know.
Never.
Well, no, we know that, but, you know, I have to say it just to, you know, make it even Stevens, darling.
I think it's between Ralph and Serena, but the way that the judges are talking all the time, I think they want Serena to win.
I think you're right there. So, Alistair, you said last week, hang on, where's my notes? I think we all agreed last week that we said Serena, Raf, I can't find my list. Here we go. You said, yeah, we all said in three different orders, but Serena, Pharah, and Raf, that we had as who we thought were going to carry on and we're going to be in the final, because next week is the semi-final. Personally, I'm still with those three. If Pharah can keep it together and not lose her cool, otherwise, if she doesn't, she's out next week. I would think. So, Alistair, have you changed your opinion since last time?
Yes, I have. I'm going to take Pharah out because I think she's in slight danger zone, and I am going to go with Serena, Rebecca, and Rafe.
So, Samantha, what do you think?
I think it's going to be. Oh God! You know what? I'm a freaking. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. I got to bleep that one out. I think Pharah's still going to be there. I think Rebecca's going to be gone. I think the judges are wanting Serena to win, but I always said from the start it could be Ralph.
Fantastic. Now, Janet, obviously you didn't have a contribution last week, so who do you think is going to be in the final, and who do you think is going to win?
Right. So what I would like to say, and you may have said this every week, is that it's all highly edited, and they are putting a challenge competition program out. So there might be a few red herrings going on, and Esme and Patrick are judging on what they actually see in those 4.5 hours. And they've sewn for like 16 hours in front of the judges, and we are getting it all compressed into a 1-hour show. So having said that, I do think we're being told that Serena will win, and it seems quite likely, but I would like Raf to win.
There you go. Well, actually, I think what happens as well with the editing is everything's filmed and they edit once it's all over. So when they do the first episode, they already know who's won, because this happened ages ago. You know, it doesn't happen every week. It's not in the same way that we view it, where we view that progression. The whole thing is done and then they're editing it. So like you say, Janet, they could already be giving us little clues as to who's going to. Yeah, exactly. And bringing us more and more detail in there, because, you know, when we do things, it's live, and this is done, you know, live. This is not edited. So you get everything. But obviously you can't do that with this show because there's just not time. Alistair's like, yeah. I have to say, Alistair, I'm starting to look at you in a whole different light.
Oh, in a nice light?
Thank you. Definitely. Thank you for bringing your melons.
You're quite welcome.
You're making me hungry. So anyway, let's leave it there for this week. For melon.
Okay. Oh.
Just dig your hole deeper, Sarah.
Ooh.
Oh dear, I tried to get all my laughter out before we started, because I joined this meeting and Alistair was already in there and it took me a good 10 minutes to compose myself. But thank you very much again for Janet for joining us. Remember the competition. You've got Alistair's competition, so you need to comment in the Create and Craft Facebook version of this video, or the YouTube version, and also go to the Create and Craft Facebook page, because there is a competition there for you to win the opportunity for your fabric to be designed and made and sold on Create and Craft. And you know, both Janet and I know how exciting it is to actually have your own fabric, and who knows, it could be one of us actually demonstrating. The minute you see your name on that selvage, oh my goodness me, and you've got that opportunity. So once more, thank you for joining us for Behind the Scenes. Next week is the semi-finals, so we're really looking forward to that. It's going to step up a gear, and we will be back here this time next week for you to listen to our musings. So again, thanks very much, and we will see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Janice.
Bye.
Bye, Alistair. Bye, Steph.
I'm actually videoing this, so work it, baby. Oh my word! I might have to.
Oh, baby!
I'll do Pamela Anderson next week.
Oh, please do. Please do.